This podcast is a 98 Studios production.
Today's the day, baby.
Today's the day.
Today's the day.
Today's the motherfucking day. Today is the day.
Today's the day.
Today is the day.
Today's the day.
What up, everybody? Welcome back to Today's the Day with Zack Andersen. I'm excited to sit down and chat. It's another solo episode today, so strap in. I've got a story for you guys. As I was thinking about, okay, what do I want to go over on my solo cast, I was thinking back to when I first started in door-to-door and I first got into the industry that I'm still in today. And I remember I'm this young kid. I'm 18 years old. I'm fresh out of high school. And I get to this massive company where there are the best players in the game that are phenomenal. And there's hundreds of people who are incredibly good at their job. And I very quickly started to realize as I went to trainings and events and everything else, although there was thousands of reps and hundreds of people who were incredibly good at their job, there was a very, very select few that stood out way beyond the crowd. And as I sat back and I observed this, I guess, I was like, I internally wondered what makes people stand out? What makes someone completely separated from the pack? And I was like, oh, they must just be built completely different. They must just be born with so much more talent or so much better than these other people. And I remember like, oh, that's interesting. Then I went through my first year and I was, as if you know my story in door-to-door, you know when I started out, I had a really, really slow start and a hard time. And I definitely was not an outstanding or exceptional rep. And then I started to notice this even more. As I got into offices, it was an insecurity of mine being like just an average or very below average rep, because it was almost like you didn't get noticed. And I know it's a really strange thing, or maybe it sounds shallow, but to me it was important. As an 18-year-old, like I wanted to be noticed. I wanted to be doing things big enough to be noticed. And at this time I wasn't producing and I hadn't perfected this craft yet, but I was working towards it every day and I was reading every single day. And there was this quote in a book. I want to say it was a John C. Maxwell book. I can't remember exactly what book, but this quote stuck with me. And if you guys know me, you know, I stick with quotes and one-liners and I carry them throughout my life and I live by them. And it was this quote. This was the quote. It said, "Be so good they can't ignore you." And when I read that, it like resonated fully with me. It was like a massive aha moment for me to be like, holy crap, that's this thing that I've been seeing. And that's the solution to this insecurity that I have. I need to be so good they can't ignore me. I need to stop hoping people see me and reach out and congratulate. I need to be so good they can't ignore me. And I remember I used to have all these quotes that I'd write in my notebook, as a lot of you guys know, and I would write this quote down every single day. And I really started to live by it. And I started to live by it back before I got good. So to put into perspective, I'm in an office with 40 people. I am the worst person in this office at this job, where every day your success is measured on a whiteboard in front of everybody else in the office. And I'm the worst in the office every day. But I cling on to this quote even at this point. It was probably midway through my first summer. Be so good they can't ignore you. Be so good they can't ignore you. And it's not like I found this and I understood this and the next thing I knew I was crushing. It was, I finished that summer as the lowest producing rep. I really struggled. I got my ass kicked. It was very, very hard for me mentally. I did get a little bit better. I grew a lot as a person. I learned how to work hard. And then this next offseason, it stuck with me. Be so good they can't ignore you. Be so good they can't ignore you. And that led into my next year. I'm a 19-year-old. I just finished my first 2 semesters of college. I shipped back out to go do my second summer of this job. And it was just consistent. Be so good they can't ignore you. Be so good they can't ignore you. And that was like a big driving force for me. And I went out and I did well. I sold 175 alarm systems door to door my second summer. I made $128,000. Dropped out of college. Then I started to take it even more serious. And that same quote had a new meaning. It was, okay, I was good and I was so good this last year they couldn't ignore me because of my growth. Like no one goes from doing 26 accounts to 175 accounts in a year. So that was one meaning. The next year it was, no, I need to go manage a team. I need to be so good that my VPs can't ignore me. I need to go and be so independent and so good they can't ignore me. And it's a really strange form of motivation that I pull from, but it's been a form of motivation that I pulled from year over year. So the next year I manage an office, we break 1,000 accounts as a first year office, which was amazing. Um, Make way more money. I personally sell way more. It's like 240 alarms in 4 months of knocking on doors. And then again, the next year, be so good they can't ignore you. You just ran a really good first year office. That's amazing. Now go double it. Like, that's good enough. They couldn't ignore it. And I'm like, oh, and it's like, that was my motto year over year over year over year, doubled the next year. Then we went and ran the number one office in the company the next year. Then it was go and become a regional at the company, younger than anyone's done it. That's something people can't ignore. And it's been a very interesting form of motivation, like I said, but it's been very, very, very apparent to me. And as years have gone on, I've realized and caught myself in this pattern and doing this over and over and over. But then I've also realized those people at these massive multiple billion-dollar companies that stand out, that are the names in the industry you remember, it's not because they're the most talented. It's not even because they do a certain thing, because a certain achievement gets overlooked once enough people go and do it. But it's because they're consistently and in multiple different areas being so good you can't ignore them. They're so good at whatever it is that's their objective that you can't ignore it. They're so independent. They're such a good leader. They're such a good person. They're such a good friend. They're such a big team player that you can't ignore them. And that's what makes them go and stand out. And then as I've been learning this over the last 9 years in this industry, and like trying to understand it more and always trying to go and understand how can I go help people duplicate what I've done and do it even bigger. It was at one of the last Tony Robbins events. It was a very, very specific section where he talked about this quote that like ruled my life for multiple years of be so good they can't ignore you. And it was very, very apparent. And I'm going to read it to you, the notes that I took on this section from this event. And it's simple. It says, today, good is not enough. Good work today produces poor results. You must become excellent to get good rewards. If you want all of the rewards, you must be outstanding, which is a 2 millimeter difference. And as this was talked about and this whole idea was hammered on, it was like, holy crap, good is not good enough. Great's not good enough. Excellent isn't good enough. You have to be outstanding. And then as I've sat back over the last 6 months and like watched, like, okay, who is outstanding in my world? Who do I see that's outstanding above me or that works with me or whatever it may be? It's really, really simple. It's very, very small things that make big, big differences. Doing the things no one else wants to do around you will go and separate you. Going and working a little bit more and a little bit harder and a little bit more effective will separate you. Going and putting in more time or more effort or getting strategic or interviewing one more person than someone else will give you the 2 millimeter difference to go and be completely outstanding in a room full of excellent talent producers, whatever it may be, whatever environment you're in. If you're surrounded by excellence, how can you still be outstanding? And with the way the world is now, and especially with AI being introduced and with so much talent and so much opportunity and the internet having been around for so long, like even excellent right now isn't enough to be outstanding. You need to go and find a way to be outstanding, which is a very, very minimal difference. So my challenge to everybody and kind of the lesson that I've learned as the years have gone on with this is it's like, pay attention to the little things, and the little things matter. The little thing that you can go and do to be outstanding to those around you and to go and help and provide value to those around you will go make you be the outstanding or the outlier that gets remembered when other people might not, right? If you're in a world like Door to Door where it is cutthroat and it's competitive, production is not enough to be outstanding. It's not enough to not be ignored. There's a lot of really good producers. There's not one thing, there's accumulation of a lot of little things that can go and make people incredibly outstanding. And then I would go and I would take this even further to your personal life or your family life or your relationships or any ventures that you're in. Go and find a way to be the person, the guy or girl that when someone meets you, they remember you because of whatever it may be, something that makes you a little bit outstanding. and it'll serve you for the rest of your life. If people can remember you and remember you in a positive manner, because you can definitely be outstanding in a negative manner, it will serve you for the rest of your life. So my challenge to all of you guys is to go and realize the difference between someone who's excellent but kind of gets lost in the mix and someone who's outstanding is a 2 millimeter difference. And then my challenge again is to go be one of those outstanding, one of the people who's remembered forever and ever and ever, and build something that'll long outlive them. That would be my challenge to everybody. So as always, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and much love. Until next time.